And welcome back to a very special Money in the Bank edition of the PLE predictions before the PL recap, after the PLE. The last time I made a YouTube video and the last time you saw me was WrestleMania. In fact, just before WrestleMania, where I did my predictions. Now, I did do a video reacting to my predictions, but I never got around to editing it and releasing it because I got busy. But we're here back now. We're on a completely different cycle. WrestleMania is in our past, Backlash is in our past. We are now, well, 7 PLEs deep into the new season, what feels like, because every other week feels like another PLE. But we're going into this weekend with, I think, 2, if we're talking Worlds Collide plus Money in the Bank, I think 2 special WWE Premium Live events. I'm not going to cover AAA and Worlds Collide, although I'm very excited for some of the matches. Obviously the Stephanie Vaquer tag team match, and obviously the Chad Gable main event against Hijo del Vikingo for the Mega Championship. Now that should be pretty good, but speaking of Chad Gable, we'll get later on into that, but we are basically going to be predicting today everything that's going to happen and all the different things that are going to occur in the 4 separate matches that are announced and that are booked for this year, 2025 Money in the Bank in Los Angeles. So let's get straight into the first match. I think it's the best place to start off with. Let's go for one of the Money in the Bank briefcase matches, and let's start with the women's one because the women's one's very interesting to me. There's not a single woman in this match who I don't think could win this match, and that could be a really good Money in the Bank option. Unlike with the men's ones, you can kind of see 1 or 2 people that are clearly there just to make the match good and to be part of all the crazy spots. In this match, any of these women could win, and the women that are involved in this match are Rhea Ripley, Stephanie Vaquer, Julia, Roxanne Perez, Naomi, Alexa Bliss. So let's go into who I think is going to win. Like I said earlier, any one of these women could win. I don't want Rhea Ripley to win, and I think that's being echoed quite a lot in the IWC. I don't think anyone wants Rhea to win. Not that she'd be a bad Miss Money in the Bank. She'd be pretty sick, I feel like, as a Money in the Bank winner, but she doesn't need it. She doesn't need that title opportunity because, as we saw last WrestleMania, she can literally just do that whenever she wants. So I'm going to move that to the side. Rhea Ripley's not who I'm going to pick to win, although there's a very high chance that TKO is going to see the opportunity of Money in the Bank and all the shirts and the briefcase that they could sell. And they're probably going to think about doing it, and they very easily could, but I'm hoping they don't. So let's move Rhea Ripley out for now. Alexa Bliss, she is already a fantastic Hall of Fame worthy women's Money in the Bank holder, cashing in on the same night. Most women's Money in the Bank matches do cash in on the same night. First prediction already out the back. I don't think they're going to do that tonight, unless they're going to cash in on the Intercontinental Women's Championship, which I really hope no one does. I don't see them doing that. So we're going to have this held, and at least for an extended period of time. So with that, who should win it? Alexa Bliss could. She's a first ballot Hall of Famer. She's a fantastic Miss Money in the Bank. It would be really exciting to see this new version of Alexa, this more demonic character, this more Wyatt Six, Bray Wyatt character, rather than the goddess being Money in the Bank holder. And I think she's a solid option. I would not be upset if she wins it. However, that's not who I'm going to go for. Naomi's a really fun one. I would love it to be Naomi, mainly because this new heel version of her is a new character that is so much more interesting than her as a face. Nothing against her as a face. She's always been a great face, especially as the big 3, WrestleMania 40. But as a heel, she's just extended the ceiling so much higher than where she would have been. She's right now one of my favorite heels in the WWE. This toxic, crazy ex-best friend, crazy, like, I'm gonna move everyone out the way to get to you for Bianca. The way she's acting, her acting skills, the way she's crying in all her promos, she is pulling it off fantastically so far. So I think genuinely I would love her to win it. I think she'd be great. Right now, she's not tied into anyone who's a champion except for Tiffany Stratton. She's had a couple run-ins with. And considering both of our champions, that being Tiffany Stratton and Io Sky, right now are faces, it would be really cool to see a heel Money in the Bank holder running after one of those. However, obviously you can hold that Money in the Bank for a year's time I'm imagining both of them won't be champion in a year's time, so you never know. So yeah, I would love it to be Naomi. However, she's not who I'm picking. Roxanne Perez. She is finally on the main roster. She is here to stay. She is right now deeply engraved in this Judgment Day summer business as it keeps going. It's becoming a running trend, like the summer of Judgment Day last year, and obviously what's happening right now. It is exciting to see what's happening with Roxanne Perez and how she's coming at a little bit in between Liv and Dominic, and how Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez clearly don't see eye to eye and all this stuff. Now, if you add a Roxy with the Money in the Bank briefcase into the Judgment Day, Dom's head might turn even more. There's more things that could come from it. Liv might get even more jealous considering she couldn't make it in the Money in the Bank match because of the miscommunication because of Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez. Roxanne Perez, is it too early? I wouldn't say it's too early. I think she's right now following the exact trajectory of Tiffany Stratton last year. Fantastic in the Elimination Chamber. Obviously, she also was the Iron Woman of this year's Royal Rumble match. It would be really cool to see the Money in the Bank briefcase put on her. And I think she might be my outside shot to get it, but she's not who I'm predicting. So obviously, that leaves Julia and Stephanie Vaquer, the two new shiny toys on Raw and SmackDown for the WWE, pulled up from NXT literally the past few weeks. And Stephanie Vaquer is my favourite wrestler on the planet right now. My favourite women's wrestler, probably alongside with Io. She is fantastic in the ring. She is great. She's got this aura. And Julia's got this crazy aura as well. She's one of my favourites. She's so good in the ring. Either of them can go for it. However, I feel like the WWE has accidentally shown their cards a little bit without meaning to. They have accidentally told us that Julia's got her sights set on Zelina Vega, who's obviously got the United States Championship on SmackDown. And I think that's a great way to start life and actually give this championship something interesting, because obviously everything between Michin, Zelina Vega, The Secret Harvest, Chelsea Green, all that stuff, it's not been particularly great television past the first PLE cycle with Michin and Chelsea Green. And so far Zelina Vega's not really been elevated or elevated the championship. So I think it's time we send Julia after that and breathe new life into that division. So, that being said, I'm hoping she doesn't win Money in the Bank, because if she does, and then she's looking at the US title, that's an Austin Theory way to ruin a brilliant start to her life on the main roster. But that leaves Stephanie Vaquer, and I genuinely think I can see the writing on the wall. WWE sees so much greatness in Stephanie Vaquer. All the fans love her. It's not even the language barrier. She still speaks good English. She's doing fantastic work in the ring. She's getting involved in the crowd. She's got her own pyro on Monday Night Raw now, and she is very beloved. And I see great things for her, and I think WWE agrees. So that being said, if you want to tie a rocket to the back of a woman for this, I think that's what they're going to do. And there's no one better than Stephanie Vaquer for this option. I think Stephanie Vaquer should hold it. Because even the chance that we could have Io Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer, a dream match for me. The chance that we could have that, and considering how good their match was when she was still in NXT but coming in and out of Raw every now and then, that match that didn't end up seeing the end of it, I'm very excited to see that opportunity in the future. So if she gets the Money in the Bank briefcase and there's a chance we could get Io Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer, I would love that. However, obviously face versus face, that doesn't always run. However, I still would kind of argue that that was what WrestleMania was last year, even though Rhea was meant to be the heel. Everyone loved Rhea. If anything, they booed Bianca more in the last WrestleMania. But I think it's going to be Stephanie Vaquer. That's who I'm predicting. Give a little outside shout for maybe Roxanne Perez, or they probably should, if they want to go for a heel, maybe Naomi. But either way, I'm going to lock it in. Stephanie Vaquer is going to be your women's Money in the Bank holder for the foreseeable future until she cashes it in. And next, we're going to be going on to the rematch between the fantastic Lyra Valkyria and the Hall of Famer Becky Lynch. Now, the man Becky Lynch and obviously Lyra Valkyria had a fantastic, probably my top 5 favorite matches this year, 2025, at Backlash. Now they're running it back with some personal stipulations. If Becky wins, Lyra has to hold up her hand and tell everyone that she's the better woman. And obviously, if Lyra wins, that means Becky Lynch can no longer challenge for this title while Lyra holds it. We're in a difficult spot here. We've gotten a couple months now since WrestleMania, or maybe not even a couple months, but you know what I mean. It's been a little while since WrestleMania. We don't have Bayley coming back yet, and we're coming to a point where if Becky loses, she's no longer in this. And I think it's way too soon to count Becky out of this feud. That has been my personal favorite feud so far post WrestleMania. This has just been such a well done masterclass on how you can have a Hall of Famer who's still in their prime lifting up and carrying a young star, a young up-and-comer to stardom, unlike Charlotte Flair, Tiffany Stratton. Becky Lynch knows exactly how to play ball. She knows when to have her licks and how to have a good promo battle where both of them look strong, and the match was fantastic. Obviously, Lyra won that at Backlash. I'm not ready to say goodbye to this feud yet, and I think Bayley needs to come in and make this a three-person feud. I think this is a great catalyst for Bayley to get involved in the IC title. And before you know it, now you've got two of the horsewomen of women's wrestling in the Intercontinental Championship picture with obviously Lyra Valkyria, who's rated so highly. I think genuinely this has brought not just new life, but it's brought it's a revitalized something that wasn't really having much luck. Maybe like 1 or 2 matches with Ivy Nile, but there was nothing really going. Much like the US title for the women, the Intercontinental Championship before WrestleMania had nothing. It didn't even feature on WrestleMania. And obviously we're all complaining why, but now we see the fruits of us waiting. We're seeing 2 Hall of Famers probably getting involved in this new championship, and it is still new. That being said, as amazing as Lyra Valkyria has been, how great she's looked, I think she's gotten to the point now where she can tank a loss because she's already beaten Becky Lynch twice. That's no easy feat. I think Becky's going to win here, maybe due to accidental Bayley interruption, or maybe if you want to go kind of boring and safe, maybe disqualification. I don't think this has any stipulation. So if Bayley gets involved, there's a high chance there could be a disqualification. Now, considering there's only 4 matches, I'm really hoping there isn't any disqualification, obviously, for one of the 4 matches. So I think Bayley accidentally costs Lyra Valkyria the title. It causes more friction between, obviously, Bayley and Lyra, and obviously Bayley versus Becky Lynch right now has this huge feud. Obviously, the past 5 years, 10 years, they've been going at it, and specifically, obviously, with that great promo from Becky Lynch where she said, "I turned on you because I've just seen you run around with my biggest enemy," because Bayley was a bad guy a few years ago with Damage Control, causing havoc and making Becky's life hell. So I'm glad they've used that and called back on it to be one of the reasons for this heel turn from Becky Lynch. Becky's jealous, she's worried about losing her, all the things that people are saying Charlotte Flair is behind the scenes. Becky's playing this character on screen and it's fantastic. Jealous, scared to lose the spotlight, scared of falling behind the younger talent. And I think that's going to be a really good factor when this becomes 3, and I hope it does. I hope this doesn't leave Lyra behind. I hope Becky wins because of Bayley accidentally. Lyra now has problems with Bayley. Bayley's probably annoyed at Lyra for teaming up with Becky, and Becky obviously has reason to hate both of them, leading to maybe a fantastic triple threat match at SummerSlam. I'm booking too far ahead, but I think it would be fantastic to have that at SummerSlam. But I digress. My prediction is Becky Lynch, and then Bayley's going to have to... I digress. Becky Lynch, I believe, is going to win this match. I believe Lyra is going to have to hold her hand up high, very begrudgingly, with a Bayley laid out on the floor watching on, adding more fuel to that fire. Anyway, on to the next match, which is the random but intriguing tag match between the last real champion John Cena and everyone's favorite human Logan Paul versus Jey Uso, 4 letters, 1 word, yeet, and Cody Rhodes returning for the first time in a match since WrestleMania 41, that lovely main event. Anyway, I don't really know what to say here. I don't have much to offer. There's no real stakes here. No one wins anything if they win. No one gets a title shot or anything because it's just The last person Cody feuded with versus the last person Jay feuded with. It's about it. And it's just them going against each other. Obviously, you've got a champion on each side. I mean, John Cena can't take the pin, even if it is to Cody Rhodes. I don't think he can afford to take a pin right now, considering how the title reign has been and really the whole heel turn has been. There's been certain parts of this heel turn that's been fantastic. The Randy Orton stuff, the R-Truth stuff. Still can't believe he's gone. But yeah, the Randy Orton stuff, the R-Truth stuff has been fantastic. But then everything with Cody, WrestleMania, Travis Scott, and then this Logan Paul thing. It's very meh so far. And having a random pin from Jay or Cody is not going to do any favors for the Universal Champions. So let's leave John Cena being pinned out the picture. Cody Rhodes just got back. And maybe if some underhanded tactics happen, we could see John Cena pinning him. No chance Logan Paul's pinning him. But then you've got a Cody Rhodes that has just been pinned back-to-back matches over the span of like a month, 2 months, and it's both against John Cena. I think that's probably not going to happen, and if it did, it would do a bit more damage than we could probably afford with Cody Rhodes, considering it is very clear that it's going to be him that saves wrestling and takes the title off John Cena. So that leaves Jey Uso as well. And Jey Uso is your World Heavyweight Champion. He's about to face Gunther literally, I believe, the Monday after. So this Monday coming up, he's about to face Gunther for the rematch for the championship. And it's insane to me that they've booked this match. We could have just had Gunther versus Jey again here, but fair enough. They're telling a really interesting story actually of Jey Uso. He's been fantastic. This experiment of main event Jey Uso as the World Heavyweight Champion has worked for me. He's made all these feuds fun. There's not been a bad match. And yeah, I just find it remarkable that this has happened, but I'm glad they've used it in a storyline. Obviously, Gunther had a conversation with Jey where he said, "You're too good of a friend, you're too good of a guy. You've just helped CM Punk, you're helping Sami Zayn, you're gonna go tag with Cody Rhodes, you're gonna come into this match not 100%. I will be having very different thoughts about this whole story if Jey ends up losing. I think, what was the point if Jey ends up losing? And obviously because I feel like this experiment has worked with the, Yeet main event world title. So that being said, he's about to go and have a rematch against Gunther, one of the WWE's biggest bad guys. He can't come into that match being pinned, especially not by Logan Paul, even if it is John Cena. He can't go into that match being pinned. So really, you see the writing on the wall here. I'm predicting anyone, probably Jey Uso, because Jey could probably benefit from getting a pin more than Cody. If Cody pins Logan Paul, it's like, But maybe Cody does kind of what he did this time last year at Bad Blood. He salutes Jey Uso and jumps for a table and crushes through John Cena. Same way he did that for Roman Reigns when they were going against this new 2.0 bloodline. We could see the same thing here. John Cena and Cody Rhodes take each other out, leaving Jey Uso to pick up the pin because he could probably benefit from it more, even though he just pinned Logan Paul. So anyway, Logan Paul's eating the pin here. I think Logan's here to show why he's here. Obviously in the ring, he's fantastic. They gave him the most mic time in the most recent face-off between these two teams, and he was fine. It was weird because it's Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso and John Cena, but it's Logan Paul getting the most mic time. But it was good. He was fine. It wasn't a bad promo, and yeah, I expect to see Logan Paul eating that pin though very, very quickly, and then you can have John Cena and Logan turn on each other and whatnot. But that's my prediction. Let's move on to the final match. It's only a 4-carder. Let's go to the final match of Money in the Bank 2025 in Los Angeles, which is the men's Money in the Bank match. So the men who are competing in this year's Money in the Bank match are Seth Rollins, LA Knight, Andrade, Penta, El Grande Americano, and Solo Sikoa. Now, like I said at the start of this video, the women, any one of them could win it, and there's all these reasons as to why they could. With the men, there's a couple here who you can say probably you can start narrowing it down. Let's go through it. El Grande Americano. Now, some people believe that El Grande Americano is the same person as Chad Gable. Conspiracists, if you ask me. But anyway, some people believe they're the same person. 2 hours, or at least an hour before Money in the Bank starts, the main event of AAA Worlds Collide happens. And in the main event is Chad Gable. Now, if they are the same person, he's pulling double duty in a big way. He's main eventing the Crescendo to Worlds Collide, this first PLE since AAA has been bought by WWE. And then he goes into the most important match, or one of 2 most important matches in a big marquee WWE PLE. So, it's a lot of trust to have on Chad Gable or El Grande Americano's trust in him. And to be fair, it's well warranted. I've been waiting for this push for Chad Gable for a while now, and I think we all have. I think a lot of people are criticising, obviously, the fact he got 2 spots or 2 opportunities where he could have gotten into it, but we got to remember one of those 2 opportunities was probably the best match of the year. Penta, El Grande Americano, and Dragon Lee. That match was unbelievable. And the other one is obviously El Grande getting in the match, so I don't know. It's a difficult one to work with, but I don't see WWE putting the Money in the Bank briefcase on El Grande Americano unless they're deciding to go for a comedic character, leaving this briefcase out of the main event this year. Maybe the main event's too crowded. Maybe there's too many turning things. Maybe there's too much going on. They don't want anyone going after Jay. They don't want anyone going after John, obviously, and definitely not Cody when they pick up the title. So you've left it in quite a difficult spot. So there's a chance they're just trying to go for a mid-carder who can have a great split personality between Chad and El Grande. Who's going to have the briefcase? Who's going to hold it? Is Chad going to be happy? Is Chad going to have to pretend that he's not actually the briefcase holder? Now that would be interesting, but I doubt they would go for that. Then you've got someone like Andrade. Now, sadly, I see the writing on the wall here. He's got no storyline right now. He's not doing anything much. He's just really there to have a good match and put on these crazy spots, and good power to him, because last year he was probably my MVP for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, and I was a big fan of obviously how that match was really the catalyst for obviously Carmelo Hayes and Andrade's major feud last year. So we could see that again, obviously, between Andrade and maybe one of the other people here, but I would bet a lot of money, mortgage house, everything on Andrade not winning this match tomorrow night. So not him. So then that leaves Penta, Seth Rollins, Solo Sikoa, and LA Knight. So let's go with Seth Rollins next, which I feel like he should be a surefire win, as much as Rhea Ripley is the big star amongst all these other great people. Obviously Alexa Bliss is the other one, but you know what I mean, the current biggest woman in that whole 6 person match. Seth Rollins is definitely far and away the biggest person in there. But there's so many different things that are going on right now for Seth Rollins with this character, you know, with the future, with Braun and Bronson, Paul Heyman, the way he's taken out CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso. He's been firing shots at everyone. This leaves me in a position where I'm very, very confident that the crescendo of this match is going to be big shenanigans. Seth is about to win. Look in my eyes, what do you see? Seth Rollins gets attacked by CM Punk. Maybe even Roman Reigns comes back, because he's not been back since the episode after WrestleMania, where he got taken out by the debuting of this Seth Rollins faction. And yeah, I don't see Seth Rollins winning it. It would be fantastic. I would love to see a modern day Seth Rollins with the Money in the Bank briefcase saying, this is the future. Everything now runs through me. I decide when I go for a championship. It could be John, it could be Jay, because there's something to be said about John Cena and Seth Rollins coming to blows, considering one's trying to ruin wrestling and one's trying to secure the future of it. You know what I mean? So for me, Seth Rollins won't win it. I'm not predicting him to, because I think someone's going to get involved, but he would be a very welcome winner. So that leaves Solo Sikoa, LA Knight, and Penta. Penta just got here, and right now I'm seeing, again, more writing on the wall. He's starting to get in more feuds with people like the Judgment Day, where he's being outnumbered, and obviously now Rey Fenix is involved with the WWE. If I'm, again, reading the writing on the wall, I'm seeing that that's going to become the Lucha Brothers reuniting at some point, and then they can go off and do what they need to do in the tag division, and I don't think that's going to take more than a year. I think it's going to be within this year. I think it's going to be within the next 6 months that happens. So a briefcase on Penta really will do him no good when he's in the tag team. So, that being said, I'm going to exclude Penta, despite a Penta in the bank, a Cero Miedo in the bank would be fantastic. I think obviously he's done so well and they've given him so much love since he came here from AEW. But I'm seeing that slowly slither away. He's starting to lose matches more. He's not got a win streak now. He's starting to get outnumbered. I'm starting to see the main event, the singles star, get pulled away as he gets dragged into the tag team vortex with his brother. However, that's not a bad thing. They could easily be the best tag team on WWE. And with people like Fraxium, the Street Profits, and other people like that, that's a high thing to say, but that's just my opinion. So that's out. So that leaves LA Knight, yeah, and Solo Sikoa. Oof, Solo Sikoa would be an interesting one. He is right now just coming right back into popularity after coasting under. It was disappeared for a while after WrestleMania. He came back and he's coasting, like obviously the second, far below in terms of like star power right now and excitement than Jacob Fatu. Kind of like he was being outshined last year with the Bloodline 2.0 with Jacob Fatu, but this story between them is becoming so interesting. You've got a champion Jacob Fatu who's brought honor to the Bloodline, and you've got a Solo Sikoa who you can tell is getting a bit jealous, and he wants his old Solo back, the good listener, the one who, I love you Solo, the one that's always listening, not the yada da mean guy, not that guy, not the guy who's all gas, no brakes, I'm doing this with or without you. He wants that obedience back. And now he's brought in Jeff Cobb, or JC Mateo, whatever they call him that, I don't know. But JC Mateo is now there, so he can obviously be a big factor. But you're seeing what I'm talking about. I'm talking about all the stories he's in right now. It's just Jacob Fatu, and unless he's going to cash in on Jacob Fatu, which is the United States title, which is a really quick way to Austin Theory someone's momentum, it's not what you want to do. So right now, as fun as it would be, because Solo's hitting his height again, he's getting exciting, he's making everyone laugh, he's becoming that main event caliber again. But I think that's what this whole JC Mateo, Jacob Fatu storyline is going to be about. And sadly, that leaves no space for the Money in the Bank briefcase on Solo Sikoa. Even if he held the Money in the Bank briefcase and then become a US title or throughout that whole feud, when Cody becomes champion again, do you really want to have that run back like the 17th time? And there would be an interesting thing there with Jey Uso, Big Brother. Big Brother's the title holder on Raw. Maybe I want to move, leave Jacob and JC, or bring JC with me. Who knows? But I've gone in a specific order in terms of who I think is most likely to win it. Except I started with Chad Gable. Flip Andrade and Chad Gable, please. Oh, El Grande Americano, I'm sorry. But yeah, I don't think Solo's going to win it. My prediction is going to be in LA, he's back home, LA Knight, yeah, he's going to finally win it. And it feels like 2 years too late, sadly, because I don't really see him cashing in on John Cena. And Jey Uso feels so far removed, even though Yeet vs. Yale was great last year at this time with the Money in the Bank. And obviously he is a beatable champion, or at least he feels like a beatable champion. Obviously Jey Uso I'm talking about. So that would be exciting. But I just look at the landscape right now, it's so barren. Who could do the most with a briefcase where they'll have to wait at least maybe 6 months before they can do anything with it, especially if they're on the SmackDown side? And that person is LA Knight, running around with the yeah in the bank, obviously with the yeah symbol all over it. I would love to see that. So that is my prediction. LA Knight, Stephanie Vaca, Becky Lynch, and obviously the team of Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes are all going to win tomorrow night. So let me know in your comments, or in my comments, let me know in the comments what you think about my predictions, what you think about Money in the Bank, the whole landscape of WWE right now. It's a minefield when you're talking about WWE right now, and I feel like I've picked a weird time to come back with R-Truth, Carlito, TKO going crazy, bunch of releases, a bunch of sad things going on. It's hard to focus on the actual wrestling part and the fact that the wrestling and the storylines have been good, but so much with so much going on, it's sometimes difficult, so I completely understand why it's a minefield right now. Hopefully I will have gotten some of them right. It would be really embarrassing if everyone I've expected to win tonight, or tomorrow night, sorry, loses. So at least get one. So thank you so much for watching. Like I said, leave a comment if you have anything to say, or if you have any predictions of your own, and I'll see you in the PL recap. Thank you so much for watching.